Yo, Carl.
man?
I'm so grateful. Thank you so much for taking time to the schedule to come, man. Like, if you guys don't already know who this guy is, YouTube him, Google, just put the word Carl in any platform, and if you don't already know, you need to know. You've been living under a rock.
Appreciate it, man. Appreciate it, man.
Yo, bro, like, first of all, like, thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule, because, man, you're doing so many things, like, you're doing amazing things. I just we're kind of coordinated, dude. Like, yo, this is amazing, yeah. You're meant to be on this show. Bro, so tell me, like, when did we meet? So we met last year, right?
Yeah. YSYS.
Yeah. For those that don't know that are listening, YSYS stands for Your Startup, Your Story.
Yep.
It's a community of young entrepreneurs and creatives that are sort of kind of like, supporting each other.
Yeah.
We kind of help each other out, and we network as well.
Pushing the agenda forward, yeah.
Yeah, we've met, and we're sort of just kind of trying to figure out, like, just talking about our own experience.
Yeah, and I think from what I remember when we met, I remember just vibing with you. Your energy, your story, what you were working on at the time, and just thinking to myself, I think there was just a connection, instant.
Yeah,
so it was like,
because you do the same thing pretty much.
Yeah, essentially.
It's slightly different. But yeah. So of course, like on this show, the whole idea of this show is to learn more about people's entrepreneurial journey, personal development and personal growth. And of course, you do quite a lot in personal development side of things. Of course, you're an entrepreneur as well. So we just thought, like, let's have a conversation. Let's figure out, what has your journey been? What's your story been?
Talk about it, man. Cool.
So let's start basics. I mean, obviously, you're free to ask me any questions.
Of course.
We can vibe like that.
Yeah, man.
But tell me, so where were you born? Where did you grow up?
Cool. Yeah, I will do, man.
Yeah.
First and foremost,
can
I just give you a massive shout out for doing this?
Thank you.
You know why as well, yeah? Because this is the difference between kind of talkers and doers. For such a long time, I've talked about how excited I am about starting a podcast, and like the fact that you've gone out there and done it, but for a purpose of bringing kind of highlight to the fact that there's so many entrepreneurs like us that are out here and have amazing stories. Thank you, man. Blessings. Honestly. Well done, man.
I appreciate
well
that,
done, man. Keep up the great work.
And the thing is, I watch your Instagram and LinkedIn motivational videos. Honestly, this is one of the reasons that inspired me to start, because I started my little
I see you.
So Simon Says, right?
Yeah, come on.
And I was like, this guy's doing it, then I can do it too.
Of course.
Because honestly, like, representation matters, right?
It really does.
Someone who looks like you, dresses like you, speaks like you, and doing something, I can do it. Yeah. Because at that moment, I was going through a really hard time.
Right. Okay.
And I thought, like, look, if it was all end today, like, what have I given to the world? What have I contributed? Right? Honestly, it just made me think, because I went through this period where I was really just like really down, and I thought, okay, if it was all end today, like, what have I left with?
Yeah.
But if you upload a video and it's encouraging someone else, and it just means that at least there's something there.
That impact in itself
that impact,
is so
exactly,
powerful.
That's the right word, that impact.
Literally, we're going to come onto it a bit later when you're up, because I'm sure you're going to ask a question about kind of what got me to start and go full-time in the business, and that was my story is very similar in that sense.
So anyway,
having that idea.
Let's rewind. So where were you born? Which area did you grow up in?
Born in the UK, born in London, Southeast London.
Southeast?
Yes.
Wow.
St. Thomas Hospital.
Oh, wow.
So this is my neck of the woods, man. I've always lived in Southeast London, SE1 essentially.
SE1.
Borough, London Bridge.
You're born and bred. You know when? Because I've only been in London for 3 years.
Wow.
Not many people.
3 years? Wow.
Yeah, just 3 years. Because I had to move down here because, of course, I had this idea and I needed to get it off the ground. And I thought. But the thing about London is that there are not many Londoners that were born here that you meet. Most people sort of moved out.
Yeah, totally.
So you were born in this area, grew up. Where did you go to school?
Here. Went to school in Peckham.
Oh, Pecks.
Yeah, nice. Of course, man.
Every time I think of Peckham, I think of Desmond's, bro. That's my reference, because I love that show. Oh my god.
Who doesn't? What black person doesn't love Desmond? Everyone loves it.
Does that place really exist? Like, is that street there somewhere?
The street is there, but I don't actually. Me and my friends were talking about this the other day. I don't know if it's an actual barber shop.
Okay.
I don't know if it was just a set, but the shop exists.
The street. Oh, really?
The street, the street exists. The shop exists.
Wow.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
I've never actually been in there, but I remember someone came into football when I was younger. They were like, "Oh, I just went past Desmond's." And so it's definitely there, man, definitely. But that was me growing up. Went to St. Thomas the Apostle College, and so it's Peckham / Nunhead. Okay. But I think the beautiful thing for me growing up in Southeast London was that I lived in Borough, Tabard Park, and so I was on the edge of London Bridge, Borough, really nice, posh, the city, and Old Kent Road, Peckham, where kind of the road life, and so I had when I went to secondary school, I had that experience of living that, not necessarily living that life, but being around those friends, doing the wrong things. But I always knew I was coming home to mum, who was like, you are going to grow up and you're going that way, not that way, you're going that way. So that was really powerful, man.
Wow. And so, in terms of growing up, like, what were your sort of childhood interests for you?
Yeah.
Like, you know, football. I know you like football.
Yeah.
You're always using a lot of analogies in football. You know?
You clocked that, yeah?
Yeah, of course, right? Arsenal fan?
Nah, no way. You're Arsenal fan, isn't it?
Nah.
I'm a United fan.
Oh, United! Oh!
Come on, man. I'm a United fan.
Yeah, because I actually went to uni in Manchester simply because you know, I grew up in Birmingham. Yeah. So, like, when I actually made that uni application, I actually didn't even have an insurance place.
Wow.
If I had failed my A-levels, I would have made it to uni because all I had was Manchester. That was it. And when I went up there, I literally lived 10 minutes away from Old Trafford.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I live on like Old Trafford Road, literally.
Wow.
Yeah, man.
So did you go to see them a lot?
Of course. I used to go to training sessions. I was one of those people, you know, when Sky Sports. And there's a guy, I was like,
serious?
Asking players to sign taking photos with players, And Manchester's small anyway, so you see them all the time.
That is amazing, man. So, good. It's good you don't live there now, because now
I know.
having a bit of a struggle, but my thing was football growing up, man.
Okay.
I played football to a semi-professional level.
Oh wow! And what position?
Centre mid, and then as I got older, I started moving out to the left. I just used to spend too much time on the ball, so they were like, "We can't trust you in the middle."
Oh, wow.
Move me out to the left. But I loved football. I still love football, and I think that gave me a real good grounding in terms of discipline, but also in terms of working hard on your craft. Okay. And I think that's where I started to develop my leadership skills. You know, how Steve Jobs always talks about how you can only connect the dots when you look backwards. Yes. And it's like when I look backwards and look at kind of the trials and tribulations that I went through with regards to football and how that built me and grew me into being a motivational speaker and running a training company, it makes perfect sense. But so football was my number one love. Played for Dulwich Hamlet Football Club, which was like a decent semi-pro club in South East London. Oh, wow. They're doing a lot better now, actually. They've been promoted, I think, 2 or 3 leagues.
Oh, wow.
And that was me, man. So football, family. Every young South East London boy is interested in girls running around doing nonsense.
Yeah, of course.
But man, it was like a beautiful upbringing, man. I had a great time, and obviously huge Ghanaian influence as well.
Oh of course. So that's where your family is originally.
Yeah.
Okay, fantastic. So in terms of that, then you had to decide to go to uni. Did you? Because most kids from African, parent households, it's like you've got to go to university. Yeah. It's not negotiable. Did you go to uni?
Yes, I did go to uni. But the funny thing is, so my mum is, my mum's an entrepreneur.
Oh wow.
Yeah, my mum's an entrepreneur. But so my mum came here, and then when she had us, she went back to school and did her GCSEs, her A-levels, and then went to uni. So we were...
After she had you?
We did our GCSE, twins. I'm twins. Me and my sister. Yeah.
Wow, that's incredible.
So we did our GCSEs at the same time. So there was a moment. So I've done a TED talk and I was talking about this.
Oh my God.
And basically I talked about how we were all sitting around the dinner table and my uncle came round to tutor us for maths, and he was teaching me, my mum and my sister Pythagoras theorem, and we literally all sat around the table talking about Pythagoras. It was crazy, man. It was absolutely amazing. But so me seeing her do that was really inspirational, but I was kind of torn between two worlds because I think, and I only realized this later on, seeing her be an entrepreneur a lot of the time fueled me with regards to wanting to play football and build a life that I dreamed about. But then when it got to a stage where I was only semi-pro and I was 16, my mum was like, no, you got to go to uni because you're not chasing a semi-pro dream. I'm sorry, I can't let you do that. And I was like, you know what, fair enough. So I went to uni and I studied international relations and politics.
Wow. What inspired you to study that?
You know, what inspired... So in school, I really enjoyed geography.
Okay.
I didn't do as well in my GCSEs as I should have. And I did really badly in my A-levels.
Yeah.
Like really, really badly. But in my A-levels, I studied a topic called world development.
Okay.
And out of all of the topics that I did biology, PE, world development and geography. Geography and world development were the ones that I enjoyed the most. Yeah. And then as I got older, although I couldn't play football at a professional level, I started to think to myself, what if I could match the two passions? I really liked the idea of international relations, intergovernmental organisations, the UN, the EU, all of the work that they do, but also, but also sport. And so I was like, how can I match the two? If I go into international relations, I could potentially work for an organisation like FIFA, do some work in sport. So that was what inspired me, I guess.
Amazing.
And I was like, yeah, that's what I'm going to do.
What was your uni experience like? Did you have the typical uni experience, if you know what I mean? Like, did you enjoy that experience? Because obviously it's not for everybody.
Yeah, it's true.
Considering the fact that, you said you didn't do that well at A-levels, like, what was your experience at uni like?
You know what? Uni was absolutely amazing for me. But I think the context for that was the fact that because I failed my A-levels, I'll never forget that was like the first time that I realised that being talented wasn't enough. Okay. So my whole life, it didn't really take that much effort for me to get into the top class of the school, or for me to be the kid in a semi-pro team that gets to wear a tracksuit to school. Like I was used to, just getting by. I was used to being the cool kid, and so that day that I opened up my A-level results was a rude awakening. But I'll never forget going home and speaking to my friend who studied the same course as me, played for the same team as me. We both had part-time jobs, and he got A star, A and B. And I got like F, U, and D. Wow. And it was like, wow, today really shows who put in that hard work. And we had identical routines. Identical, literally. But one produced one produced this, one produced that. And I was like, okay, cool. This is clearly just to show that you only ever get out what you're willing to put in life. And so going to uni, long story short, I wasn't going to let that happen again. And so I really doubled down. And that's where I got introduced to personal development. Started watching. I had been introduced to it before, but at uni I started to take it serious. Started watching motivational videos. I found out about E.T., the hip hop preacher. I started listening to Audible. I think my girlfriend at the time bought me a Kindle. Secrets of the Millionaire Mindset, Napoleon Hill, Think and Grow Rich. I really started consuming this information. And so, I really just started working hard on both fronts. I started enjoying university life, but I really started working hard with regards to my degree. And so, it kind of just blossomed from there.
What uni did you go to, by the way?
Coventry.
Okay. I'm from the Midlands. I'm from Birmingham.
So when you said that, I was like,
oh wow, that's crazy.
So I spent a lot of time in Birmingham.
A lot of people from Coventry used to come to Birmingham for nights out. And yes, I know a lot of people from Coventry actually. Okay. It's crazy.
I liked it, man. I like the Midlands.
Yeah, Midlands is a slightly different experience from London. I used to feel like, because I went to uni in Manchester, but everyone I used to meet from London was like, this is a village. Because London is a whole different ballgame, obviously.
Yeah, of course.
So, okay, so you pick up on this whole, personal development thing, you get this interest into it, you finish uni. What happens then? Because I know you have a really interesting story that you get a job, right? Yeah. Most people do, right? So tell me about that. What was your journey after you finished uni then?
Cool. So it actually started, I guess, halfway through uni during my placement year. So I did a placement with an organisation called the Commonwealth Youth Exchange Council. And we did some projects in like Glasgow, Sri Lanka, Trinidad and Tobago, etc. And so as a result of that, I got a job with the actual Commonwealth Secretariat.
Oh wow!
And I was working in the Sports for Development and Peace Division. So essentially, I was doing what I talked about with regards to international relations and sport. And it was like, cool, this is great. So I worked for them through final year part time. So I used to come down to London, and then they gave me a full-time job after uni when I had finished. So I was working for them for about a year or so, and there was a day that I walked in. So after the traveling to Trinidad and Uganda and
you been Uganda, bro?
Yeah, I went to Uganda.
Oh, shit.
Kampala. Yeah, I've been there.
That's crazy, man. Yeah.
Yeah, I've been there.
Where did you go?
We went to Kampala. When?
Yeah, where?
So I stayed in Kampala. I stayed in Kampala the whole time because I was there for the local government forum, the Commonwealth Local Government Forum.
So you didn't get to explore?
Nah, I didn't get to explore. I made a good friend out there who wanted to take me around, but we didn't have enough time. Okay. Because when you're out and you're working for like an international...
Of course, yeah.
It's active, man. Yeah. Active.
What hotel did you stay in?
Oh, do I even remember them? We stayed in two different ones. I haven't got clear. It was in 2012.
Oh, it's 2012.
Yes, it was a little while ago.
Yeah. No worries. I mean, look, again, if you ever want to go to Uganda, man.
Listen, I'll hit you up, man. I'll hit you up, definitely.
Yeah, you need to go explore. It's incredible. I mean, I'm sure, Uganda.
But from what I did see, it's absolutely beautiful.
Yeah, but Kampala is not. It's not.
Oh, really? Because even the greenery that I saw there and the.
Yeah, I guess when you live in the airport, you saw a bit of the lake, right? Yeah. We're a landlocked country, but we actually have a lake, and on that lake, we actually, because it's, I think, the second biggest freshwater or the biggest lake freshwater in the world, and there's islands on that lake. Okay. And you can actually take a boat, and like you find it's almost like you're in this paradise. Like but it's a landlocked country, but it's incredible. Like it's just wow. Anyway, I would say that because of course. But so no, it was beautiful. You finished. You're working with this. Yeah. You come back from this conference, and then what happens?
So there's a day that I walk into the office and I look at my manager. Yeah. And I'm like, okay, cool. I see a little bit of paperwork piled up on his desk, and I'm like, I don't want to do your job one day. Like, I don't want to, I've tasted this now. I know I don't want to do your job. Yeah. So I look at his manager and the paper pile is a little bit bigger. And I'm like, okay, I don't want to do your job. And then I look at the door, and literally as I look at the door, the director walks in and starts screaming her head off and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, and I definitely don't want to do your job. What the hell am I even doing here? Like, what is the point of all of this?
Absolutely.
And it was like, it was just a rude awakening for me. But at that time, my entrepreneurial taste buds had already been kind of, tantalized, because I had started something in uni with a friend.
What was this?
So basically, like in the middle of the night at like 3 a.m, my friend had this really weird idea to like put a couple holes in a Lucozade bottle and put them on a tap.
Okay.
And then put a hole in the middle, and then it turned into like a tap mixer.
Oh wow!
And then he was like, he was like, I was like, why are you doing that? And he was just messing around, and I was like, wait, hold on. This could be something. And he was like, why don't we do this? Laughing about it, making jokes, haha. I walked through the enterprise unit at my uni, and I went upstairs and I saw that they had an entrepreneur program. So like a Dragon's Den type program where you go and you pitch and you get money, etc. So I called him up and I said, yo, let's do this. And he's like, whatever, man. I'm like, no, seriously, like, let's do this. We've got this new idea. Let's go and take it and say we want to make it a business. I can see this product in B&Q. Cool. So we went, we did it, we won. And then,
that's incredible.
Yeah, we won. We got into the program.
What's the product again?
So it was basically a tap mixer.
Okay, so what is that?
So you know how old school taps you have right and left. Not every tap is one.
So you were bringing.
So we were basically taking those and bringing them together. And there are a lot of households.
Was it plastic? Was it rubber? What was it?
It was plastic. When we started to develop the idea, it actually turned into something that was going to be for people who suffer from arthritis.
Oh, wow.
Because it was going to be a tap mixer that could sense the pressure of the water and change it for you. Because if you've got arthritis, you struggle with the taps.
Yeah, that is true.
So that was the product idea. Wow. Watch this space, it still might come out. So essentially, and that was the idea. But it started off with just a Lucozade bottle. Oh, so when we pitched it, we showed them the video of the night that we actually came up with the idea. Brought the Lucozade bottle with us, and we're just like two young kids messing around. But we won it, got onto the program, they gave us the money, and we're like, cool, let's try it out. It was only $3,000.
Okay, that's a lot of money.
But we used that to buy Macs. We went to buy Mac computers with it. It was hilarious, man. That was my first introduction to the fact that you could have an idea and just bring it to life. You don't have to have anything. It could just be an idea. And it was like, once I tasted that, I was like, man, we need to do this again. Like, and after a while, that didn't necessarily work out. But then we had another idea and started a different business called All Star Movers. So we basically took student stuff from their home to their university accommodation.
Man, you're like on the hustle.
Listen,
man.
we were hustling, man.
So you do this end of term or beginning of term, or
so the first one.
So you hire a van and then you just drive them out.
Yeah, we just literally hired a van and just started driving them out. Yeah.
Wow,
literally, man. It was, but I guess one of my biggest learning curves from that was the fact that, so we were doing it for a while. It was going okay, but I was doing it alongside my job.
Of course.
And there was a day that I was on the motorway taking the student stuff up to Leicester. Yeah. And then I took the wrong turn. Yeah. And then I saw a sign that said next stop Wales. I was like, wait, hold on. And I remember being in the van wearing my high vis jacket, driving and I remember thinking to myself,
why am I doing it?
What the hell am I doing here? Like, what's going on? As much as this was fun when I'm in uni, I'm like, to start a real business doing this, I have no passion and no care in this. And that was the realization for me, where I realized, okay, cool, I have to do something that I'm passionate about. I'm not just financially driven. I have to do something that has an impact that I care about. So I guess the journey took a little bit of a twist after that.
So you were telling me about this moment where you realize, director comes out of and obviously you then make this thing that you come up, you just decide, this is not for me. Yeah. What happens then after that?
So I guess after that, so when that happens, I'm still doing All-Star Movers.
Okay.
So I just left.
Oh, so you used to balance the two?
Yeah, I used to balance the two. We started them together, So I left and went and did All-Star Movers. Yeah. And then I had that moment where, actually, sorry, I didn't left, so I didn't dramatically quit. What happened is, got to the end of my contract and they said to me, we'd love for you to apply for a new position. Yeah. And I looked at it and I was like, this new position is basically going to be me doing the same thing for another 2 years. I would rather go and try out this entrepreneurial stuff. So I went and started doing All-Star Movers full time. And then I had that moment where I realized after a while, I'm not actually that passionate about this. And this is not making enough money to fuel me.
Yeah, of course.
So that is a testament to the fact that, a lot of the times, if you don't sign up for the right reasons, when it gets hard, you'll quit.
Exactly.
So, so then that happened. So then I went back to work. stopped doing all-star movers. I went back to work now. Still working in the sport for development division. And then me and my friend who went to university with me and my friend that I went to university with, but not the business partner, Aziz, we used to do quite a lot of public speaking. We used to do a lot of public speaking, and we used to do a lot of volunteering. So like going into schools to speak, going into schools to train young people.
As a volunteer?
Yeah, as a volunteer.
Okay, was this part of a charity or foundation?
Yeah, so a few different ones. I was a Safer London ambassador.
Okay.
So I lost a friend of mine to gun crime in like 2010. And so that made me, no, it's cool, man. That made me want to get involved in my local community and just start like affecting change and start bridging the gap between like the Metropolitan Police and the young people. So that started off my kind of youth facilitation and training, leadership. And I really got a taste of it. And I was like, this is cool. And so I started doing some stuff with the British Youth Council just to really bring more representation to our type of people, especially from my type of community as well. And again, just got the taste for public speaking, got the taste for empowering other people, training and leadership, and I was like, I really enjoy this. So I just kept on doing it even more. And my business partner was doing the same at the time. And then one day we were just having a conversation, and we were like the energy that we've got between ourselves is so amazing, like it's so electric. Like we basically peer mentored ourselves through uni, but I don't want to keep it between us. Like how can we give it to the world? And the first suggestion was, let's write a book. And I was like, why don't we go one step further and just like start a business? It makes sense for us to go out and deliver this type of training to other young people who need it, because you obviously don't get it from school. And that's how 2 to 3 Degrees was born, man.
Wow, amazing. So what is 2 to 3 Degrees? What does it do in a nutshell, like in a simple couple of sentences? What does it do?
So essentially, I guess I'll do my little pitch. So since leaving school, have you ever had to use Shakespeare to write a job application?
No.
Or maybe like your knowledge on Pythagoras' theorem. Have you ever used that to navigate roads? No?
Exactly. No, hell no.
Brilliant. And that's just a testament to the fact that a lot of the times the skills that we learn in school become redundant the minute we leave the school gates. And there's statistics to back that up. Like 1 in 7 16 to 24-year-olds are at risk of stuff like social exclusion, reduced well-being, reduced prospects, which doesn't make sense if you spent all those years in education. So 2 to 3 Degrees essentially goes into schools and teaches young people the stuff that they're going to need for life after school. Confidence building, how to deal with failure, what it is to network and to do public speaking, that type of stuff, but using like fun, engaging, dynamic workshops. Essentially like activity-based learning. So instead of standing at the top of the classroom and saying, you do this, you do that, it's like create some games and some like positive psychology activities that help them actually learn this stuff for themselves.
Amazing. Wow.
That's it, man. Thank you, man.
Incredible. And you know, the reason I love about what you're doing is because, like you said, it's never taught in school. Now, I went to law school, I went to business school. There's so many things that I wasn't taught, that I only learned on the grind, on the hustle. That you learn because you go through these things mentally. It's kind of like, you know, like they say, you know, when you kind of fall in love and you experience heartbreak. There's a certain lesson, there's a certain, you know, like mental shift that happens once you fall in love and then you get heartbroken. Like it happens, and you can't teach that to somebody. Somebody has to. But the fact that you are actually, you know, sharing these experiences and these through fun and games as well, that is really cool. Wow. So do you currently do it with Aziz or you do it with somebody else? What's your setup there?
So Aziz and I have been doing it since March 2016.
Okay.
And Aziz still works full time, but she works compressed hours, Monday to Thursday. And then every Friday she's with me. I'm full time on the business, and we've literally just recruited our first full time staff member.
I did see the ad, because you put it out in the YSY.
We literally amazing. Just and that feeling has been amazing. The fact that we're bringing someone on board. We've had a couple of freelance facilitators that go out and deliver, and that's the plan in the long run as well. We won't be delivering and training forever. We're getting to the stages now we're starting to win tenders or win contracts, so I'll focus more of my time on doing that, although I love the delivery, so I always do a little bit of it.
Of course,
but bringing on other young people who are just as passionate and getting them to do it as well is really key for us.
Amazing. So so you guys have been going for a couple of years now? That's amazing. So what are the challenges you've faced in setting this up? Like, you know, are you able to speak about some of the challenges you've gone through?
Totally, man, totally. I think, so if I look back, one of the biggest challenges that we faced was essentially not thinking big enough in the beginning. So when we started out, in our minds, we were just like, okay, cool, let's just ask this school if we can come in for like one day, or we can come in for like a couple of hours, and it can pay us a couple of £100, etc., etc. And then you go in and you start delivering the work, and then you realize how much of an impact you're having, and the fact that if you had gone to this school and said, here's this 6-week program, pay us 10 grand, they're much more likely to buy into something like that. Obviously you've got to taste, they've got to have a taster first, you've got to build your profile, etc. But in the beginning, it's really difficult to think big because you operate in so much fear. You're worried that, because one of the things that we struggled with in the beginning, we're like, our teacher's going to buy into what we're doing, we've never taught before. Are people really going to pay for this service? Everyone was telling us that it's difficult to sell to schools, all of that type of stuff. And so it's like not being limited by your own mind and not being limited by what people tell you. It's kind of like imposter syndrome. Something that I think a lot of entrepreneurs struggle with. So that's definitely a big one.
Amazing.
Yeah.
So basically, you have now fully taken on somebody, and we're now talking about the challenges that you faced. So not thinking big enough was one of the challenges.
That's definitely one.
Was this?
Yeah, I think not thinking big enough is definitely one. Not identifying quick enough where we need help and how to build a team. I think depending on your personality type, but a lot of entrepreneurs, and we're probably really, really similar. In the beginning, you just think you can do everything. And so exactly, like you wanna just do everything. One of the things that I didn't realize, and there's a book called The E-Myth by Michael E. Gerber, and he talks about how entrepreneurs have an entrepreneur spasm, and what happens is they have a job and they're like, I don't like my boss, so they get rid of the boss and they quit and they go and they start a business. And what they don't realize is that they've actually started a business, which means they're going to have 10 jobs instead of one. And so you become the marketing person, the sales person, the finance person, and the person who does the delivery of the thing. I mean, it's like that part you don't necessarily realize, but again, you don't learn that until you start. So it's like identifying really early how to make use of other people's skill sets and bringing them on board, which you can probably relate to as well.
Oh my God, I know a thing about it. I literally am chief everything officer. I was for a long time, not so much now, but so in terms of those two challenges, anything else that kind of like, did you have to raise money, funding, or was it just something you decided? What about the sales aspect? Because obviously sales, like I went to law school and business, I was never taught how to sell. It's something I had to learn from scratch. How did you, because obviously you had a bit of experience kind of selling ideas, and obviously you had the moving business. So did you undertake any formal training in terms of sales, or did you get any mentorship around that, or you kind of just learned along the way?
Yeah, that's a good question. So no formal training. Not necessarily any mentorship, but one thing that we've been blessed with is that my business partner, Aziz, her and her mum, I don't know, I think it's natural, they're just amazing at selling and negotiating. And so I've always watched them. And also my previous business partner as well, Kofi, like there was something about them that when it comes to money and when it comes to saying that this is the price for the product and trying to get the best price for it, whether they're buying or whether they're selling, they're just naturally good at that. So I've always watched them, and because I'm a communicator, I think I've just picked up on that. And over time, because I can communicate and get an idea across so well, it makes it a lot easier to then do the money part. The money part, though, that's probably been one of my biggest challenges, because I always used to, and probably still do a little bit, undervalue myself.
That's the thing, because you've never
been told.
So like, you're like, how am I going to ask someone for 10 grand?
Exactly.
But actually, like, it's the money you should think about, it's the value.
Yes.
We'll get back to that.
No, but it's so key, because and that's probably part of the reason why we didn't make as much money as we should have in the beginning, because we always used to go in and undervalue ourselves. The charge that we'll be doing for a day's work of both of the CEO's time and the director's time, somebody will be getting that for like an hour, and it's like, what are you doing? But you have to learn that once you're in it, But the sales thing, I guess for me, and I don't know what your advice will be around this, because there might be entrepreneurs listening who have been through something similar. One of the best things that have happened is to just go and sell as much as possible. Because I went full time on a business. 90% of my time was spent selling, and I like it as well. I think that makes it a little bit easier. I like the communicating, I like hunting, I almost like the Wolf of Wall Street aspect. I guess not the
that's your analogy.
Bad analogy, but do you know what I mean? I like that aspect of things, and so I enjoy it. But the only way to get better at it is to do it, because you start to realize that there's no shame in negotiating, and you start to realize when you try something cheeky and someone says yes, you're like, oh, maybe I'll try that again next time. You know what I mean? And then you start to realize the power of saying no, because when someone comes back to you and says, no, I've only got this much, but it's easy, it's okay to be like, no, sorry, that's not the charge. You couldn't go into an Apple shop and say, I've only got £900, can you give me this £1,300 products. It doesn't work like that. So
right,
getting out there and doing it is definitely one key. But I don't know, maybe you've got some tips. Do you, when you think about selling?
No, very, very similar. So actually, one of the things you brought up, I read a book on confidence, and it talked about the different types of confidence there are.
Cool.
One of the types of confidence it talks about is performance confidence.
Yeah.
So a lot of people want to have confidence, right? But they don't realize that one way of actually getting that confidence is you have to do it over. You have to perform, right?
Yeah.
So you have to do it over and over. No. So for example, you're doing a presentation, a sales presentation. You have the slides. You have to do it over and over to the point when the PowerPoint dies out and the battery goes. You can still do it and flinch.
Exactly.
And a lot of people don't realize that. So you have to perform in order to get the confidence. People just want to kind of just go to the...
They just want to be confident.
They want to be, but you can't. It has to. And for me, it's just like you. I had imposter syndrome. And stuff. But I think one of the things that helped me for me as well is that I always... I spoke to my target audience before I sold them anything.
Right. Okay.
You know that discovery stage, you know?
Yeah.
What are your struggles? What are you going through? What, if you had a product like this. So I already kind of knew.
Right, okay.
The Wolf of Wall Street, as you know, right? He has that straight line selling method.
Yeah, exactly.
And this is the other thing I also did. I tapped into a lot of online resources and a lot of, and I actually was able to find some free videos that always kept getting deleted, so I'd watch them really quickly. And one of them was the Wolf of Wall Street, actually. He talks about this straight line selling method.
Okay.
And he talks about you asking the right questions.
Yeah.
Because once you ask the right questions, you have that information. Can you say, so based on everything you've just told me, I
think I've listened to that video before,
Yeah.
That's crazy. So what's the name of the confidence book that you mentioned? It's not the Maverick Mindset, is it?
You know what? I'll find it.
Cool. Yeah.
But so what he said was that performance confidence is really important. So I think for me, my journey in kind of improving my self-confidence was all about my sales skills was all about, number one, doing the research, asking the right questions, speaking to people, and then number two was performing. You can't get out of it. You have to do it. A lot of people just think, that. It's funny, I did a workshop once and I kind of went through everything. We do this. I do this workshop, how to turn your idea into business. So went through everything, step 1, step 2, step 3. Then at the end of the workshop, someone asked, but how do you do this? And I'm like, oh my God. Some people want the assurance that every single... Look, you can't get that.
No.
You have to go out there and do it.
And that's where I find that a lot of the time... those people might potentially be signing up for the wrong reasons because they're signing up based on the fact that they want a guaranteed reward and not because they just love the thing and they're willing to deal with the fact that it could be 50-50, you could fail and you could succeed. Literally, that's how it works. But so I think that's definitely a thing that I always try and look out for if I'm ever speaking or coaching someone and I can hear patterns of, but how do I get to this and how do I skip this part and how do I just how do I guarantee this? There's no guarantee.
There's no guarantee.
You got to take that leap. You got to take that leap, man. There's no guarantee.
There's no guarantees. And a lot of people just want that guarantee that whatever they're trying to do, especially if it's an entrepreneurial venture. And so if you're not comfortable with taking risks and you're not comfortable taking chances, then
exactly.
Just stay in your day job.
There's no terms and conditions.
So you learned a lot of sales skills predominantly from doing, from doing, and also from your
business partner.
Yeah. And so in terms of any other challenges that apart from obviously undervaluing yourself and your services, what other challenges? So you didn't have to raise any funding, right? We didn't
have to raise. So one of the things that we promised each other in the beginning was that we're not putting a penny into this.
Oh wow!
I don't. You know what? Now that I look back at it, it's probably really backwards now. But at the time, for us, we were. I think, and again, this is a testament to my business partner. She was just like, we can build this business from scratch without putting any money into it. And so we guarantee we're not putting no money into this. The day that we start this business, because this is a business, this is not a charity. The day that we start this business, we have a product to sell and someone's buying this product. Luckily, obviously, we don't have a type of product where we have to go and put upfront money, build the product and then go. Technically, the product is our time. Putting together the resources, creating everything, the sales, etc. So although we haven't put physical cash into it, we've put time into it. But from the beginning, we said, we're going to go out and sell this product and make it work. And that's how we've built 2 to 3 Degrees. We always said, we're going to sell to schools, we're going to sell to youth organizations, we're going to sell to local government, and they're going to pay us to go in and deliver these services. And so that's been great.
Amazing. So 2 questions actually just picked up on. One is, the name 2 to 3 degrees. How did you come up with that name? And then I want you to also tell me about the first actual paid gig that you got.
Right. Okay. Cool.
So how did you come up with the name 2 to 3?
Cool. Wicked. Whenever we get that question, every time, whenever we get that question, I always respond with, "Now that you know what we do, what do you think it means?"
I'm guessing it's got something to do with the 6 degrees of separation, or that whole idea of like, I think it's just got something to do with the 6 degrees of separation. I don't know.
Yeah. No, you're on the money. You're on the money. So technically, there's 2 reasons. So Aziz always talks about the 6 degrees of separation and talks about the fact that it's probably not 6, it's 2 to 3 degrees. So it's a lot smaller. So you
Can you explain what, like, somebody might
So
not know?
Cool. So 6 degrees of separation, for those who don't know, is essentially the idea that you might know someone who knows someone who knows someone who knows someone that might know the person that you want to get in contact with. So if I said I want to meet Idris Elba, for example, I might know 2, 3, 4, 5 people, and that 5th person might know Idris Elba. But we argue that you don't need 4 or 5 people. You actually probably need 2 to 3. Your network is actually a lot.
I think that's what the research actually says.
Yeah, exactly.
It actually says it normally takes 2 to 3 steps.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, yeah.
Exactly. But there's the other spin that I take on it is if you imagine a protractor, 2 to 3 degrees is actually a really small angle.
Yes.
And all of the changes that you need to make for your development are actually really small changes, incremental changes over time. Kind of like that power of compound interest.
Nice, I like.
Yeah, so over a period of time, those 2 to 3 degrees, we're going to end up in like big, massive action.
Amazing.
So that's the thing, man.
Great name, man. That's great branding right there, man. And then, so tell me about that first paid gig that you got. Like, what was it? How did you go about getting it? Do you remember? I'm sure it's always memorable.
Oh, right? Of course, definitely. Yeah. Definitely. So we were really, really blessed in that. So once we had that exciting phone call, said we're going to start this business, we said, okay, cool, let's link up on Saturday and let's think about all of the different things we're going to do in this workshop. But before Saturday came, we said, let's WhatsApp every single person in our contact list and ask them if they know a teacher or if they are a teacher, pay us to come in and deliver this service. We haven't got any resources, any materials, but this is what we want to do. Pay us to come and deliver a service. Obviously, one of my friends was a teacher. She came back to me and said, you know what, we've got an enrichment day coming up. We're looking for someone to come and run workshops all day and speak to the year 13s. Send me an email with what you've got. I jump on Word, we put something together, we send it over. They're like, cool, boom, there's your first booking. March the 22nd, 2016.
Wow.
Yeah, I remember
incredible.
That. So it was really, really powerful moment. But again, just another testament to the idea that if you have an idea, you can bring it to life. And then, just been chasing that ever since, man.
And that's the other thing as well, that a lot of entrepreneurs or creatives who have an idea, they tend to keep it to themselves because they don't want anyone to steal it. But actually, you have to tell people and share it.
There's power in that.
Because in doing that, you never know, you might just get a client, right? That's incredible.
There's power in that, man.
So, and then you do that. Do you still actually work with that school, or have you then moved on?
Haberdasher. So we have done... No, we haven't worked with that school for a while, actually.
Okay.
We've moved on to work with other schools. So we've worked with over 30 different schools and organisations.
In total, how many people do you think you've impacted?
Over 3,000.
Oh, wow.
Over 3,000 young people.
Under 2 years.
Yeah, definitely over 3,000. There's probably more than that, but we haven't tracked all of the numbers. Because when we go out and we deliver talks sometimes, for example, I did a talk at the O2, and that was, I'm guessing, Indigo O2, I think the capacity is like 1,000 people.
Wow.
So even just with stuff like that, you don't necessarily get all of it. So it's been a real blessing, man. It's been a journey. But in terms of like the more intense workshops and programs, over 3,000 young people.
That is that's real impact. Yeah, man, that's amazing.
It's been a journey, man. It's been a journey.
So the other thing I want to talk about is in terms of personal, stress management. And well-being, because this thing is really, really stressful. So how do you look after your own kind of well-being? How do you look after, what is your approach to self-care and stress management?
Cool. That's a great question, and probably one of the biggest questions that entrepreneurs need to be asked.
Exactly.
I was speaking to a friend the other day, and he asked me, "How is your mental health?" Like, no one ever asks you that question.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but that's
important for me to. Yeah.
Such a key question, because a lot of the time, what I've found is I'm naturally a very positive, a very big character. Like I enjoy life. I get a lot out of life.
This is what. Sorry.
Go on.
I was going to say, because people see you doing all this positive, energetic, kind of like motivating talk. They always ask themselves the question: do you ever? Do you ever feel down?
Yeah. Like, is that you every day?
Yeah. Is that you every day? Do you ever feel down?
Yeah.
But anyway.
The answer to that question is yes.
Yeah.
I'm human.
Yeah.
Everybody does. Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
I think what is interesting about it though is that when you build a certain routine and framework and outlook on life, you can decrease the amount of times that does happen. But it doesn't mean it won't happen. It definitely happens. Yeah. And entrepreneurship is the easiest way to make that actually more frequent. Because what I found is, especially since going full time, my mental health fluctuates a lot more. I'm someone who is used to just being on a high on a regular basis. Yeah. But being an entrepreneur, one, sometimes can be really, really lonely.
Of course.
And loneliness is something that I've struggled with. Yeah. One can times really hard. There was a moment of time where it must have been 3 months or so, we never made any money. And I remember thinking to myself, what am I going to do? Like, we never made a penny. No bookings, no inquiries, no nothing. That was when God was saying to me, look, you say you want this? Yes, we're going to test this out. You say you want this? We're really going to test this out, you know? And fortunately, I didn't flinch, but... So cool. So going back to, I guess, the answer to the question. So one is, yes, I definitely struggle. Definitely struggle with loneliness. Definitely struggle with imposter syndrome. Definitely struggles with moments and bouts of just feeling really negative and not necessarily knowing where it's coming from. What I do to kind of combat that, one is... just accountability, I think, is really, really important. And accountability is just a really fancy word for saying talking to your friends, but talking to people you actually trust. Aziz, I can pick up the phone and call her and say, yo, I feel rubbish. This is actually what's going on inside my head. Yeah. And the funny thing is, when those moments come, the first thing that happens is you think, you know what, I really should speak to someone, but the enemy tells you, don't say anything. Keep it to yourself. And that is the easiest way. That isolation is the easiest way for you to just... deteriorate completely. Yeah. So I try to build the habit, and I'm still struggling with it because I harbour a lot in. But I'm trying to build the habit of, if I am feeling negative, pick up the phone and ring someone. I can call Aziz, I can call Zab, I can call one of my friends. So that's one thing. Yeah. Two, exercise. Gym is key.
So you got the guns popping.
Trying, man. Trying, but I think gym is key because what I started to realize is that gets you in a certain mind frame, and it just builds your endorphins, and it gets you going, gets you feeling like I go gym at like 6 a.m, but come 9 a.m, I'm leaving and I'm going to work. I've already conquered a big activity in the day. I've already gone, like, worked my body to its extreme, feeling like a champion. And so that just continues, you know what I mean? So I think exercise is really important. Laughter, family, friends, prayer is big for me. Being connected, being connected to the power source is huge, man. And there's a lot of things that I guess in a human form and in a material form, sometimes we can't explain. There's battles going on in our spiritual realm, and so if you're not connected to that, it's like having a phone that you're not charging. It doesn't really make sense. Or having an app that doesn't get updated. You know what I mean? There are certain things that God wants to do through you that you're gonna need, but the only way to do that is to be connected. So those are just a couple of things that I do, man. Definitely.
Incredible. I like how you're very open with that in terms of how you. Because, you know, especially with men, and especially being men of color, black men in general, this whole thing of not talking about how you feel, like, it's not, you're not, be a man, or don't, there's this negative stereotype and this image that you have to keep, if you talk about how you feel, you're weak, and that has to be, and it's funny because we went to an event together last year, we met at randomly again, and remember we went to the mentality event. They've had a couple of events this year. Have you been?
No, I haven't been,
Yeah, so I've been really busy too. But Mentality, for those that don't know, is a platform for men to sort of talk about their mental health and how they're feeling, and kind of just be vulnerable and open about their challenges in a men on this space. So I think
like a safe space.
Yes, safe space. Yeah, ladies just kind of lock themselves out, and it's funny. It was started by the majority of founders actually women.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the ladies actually started, which is incredible. But it's okay to talk about how you feel and what you're going through, and to open up. With other people, and it's really good to have that support network there, and also just as well. I mean, I think Tony Robbins always talks about this whole thing of if you want to change your psychology, you need to change your physiology.
Change your
state. The whole thing of your
state.
You have to.
Totally.
And when you do, when you stand up and you run or you do something,
move around or just
move around. You instantly come out of this state.
It's true.
You transform, and I used to think it was, and I'm gonna be real with you. I used to hate motivational speech.
A lot of people did.
because I just thought, I'll be real. I just thought that you kind of just repeat the same cliche. They recycle the most.
And there are some who do. There are some
who do. They recycle the most cliche motivational quotes, and it's like, until I started doing this workshop, because I'm very technical. Right, so for me, my workshops are all about how do you go from 0 to 1? How do you turn an idea into a business? You know, what is the legal approach? What is the fundamental, business plan? How do you do sales? Like all this technical stuff. So for me, looking at these people doing, but then over a period of like 3 years, I've done this and I've trained over 400 people. I've noticed that obviously the majority of people struggle with what is quote unquote soft skills, and I now hate that term soft skills, but because first of all, they're not soft skills. Confidence for me is something I discovered. The majority of people who come to my workshops struggle with. Wow. And you have people that have been working in corporate world, they have senior jobs, they have big corporate jobs, and they have this idea, but they struggle with the confidence to actually go ahead. They've got all the skills, all the contacts, they've got the money, but they actually struggle to start. And that is when I began to realize, oh my God, there's huge value in this, because now they need somebody to give them permission. And this is the other thing, because society in general, and I'm sure you know this, and I think you've talked about this in one of your videos, is that we live in a society where you have, basically you're given permission every single stage in order to make progress. Yeah. Someone's always giving you permission. True. Right? Yeah. you're in nursery school, you do well enough, someone gives you permission to go to primary school. Yeah. In primary school, you do well enough, someone gives you permission to then move on to secondary school. You do well enough, someone gives you permission, you pass to go to uni. You do well enough, someone gives you get a degree, and then you're good enough, you get that job. You do well enough, someone gives you permission to get a promotion. Yeah. And it's that climbing. But when you want to start a business or you have an idea, you have to give yourself permission. And so key. Confidence is key in you doing that. And the thing I love about what you're doing is you actually fundamentally help people from a very young age build those skill sets. The so-called soft skills, which for me, I hate calling soft skills. Yeah, it's crazy that they call it soft skills when you think about it. It's vital life skills. Exactly. If you don't have self-confidence, how many people do we know that are smart academically, but they can't talk to people? Amazing. They can't build rapport, and no belief. Yeah. No belief, no desire, no ability to kind of build something from within and say, I'm going to push through. Yeah. So what you're doing is incredible. Thank you, man. I appreciate it. 3,000 people in a couple of... Now imagine in 10 years' time. Exactly. That is just going to be... That's going to be insane. No, it is, honestly, 100,000 people maybe. Yeah, no, by God's grace it will be, man. Especially because we're looking to potentially bring in an e-learning platform as well. So we're going to be doing it physically, but also alongside that have some access to videos and online quizzes that can go into the schools, go into the youth organisations. Yeah. So we'll definitely be working on that, man. Amazing. And so in terms of self-care as well, one of the things I was going to suggest is, do you find that in the people that you're training, do you find there's been a need? Because obviously by kind of reaching this amount of people, have you picked up on some of the other missing bits? So are there some opportunities that you've noticed there's a need for X, a need for Y service or product? Okay. Is there anything else that you picked up? I mean, obviously, maybe there's a trade secret that you... No, not at all. Because one of the things I'm trying to illustrate here is that when you start something, you will notice there will be gaps within the market that you're serving that you can address, but only after you've started. Yeah, exactly. You have to be in the game essentially to realize. Is there anything else that you picked up? No, that's a. You are very technical, isn't it? That's a really good question. Cool. Definitely some traits. So in terms of the young people that we train and the common themes, one of the first big ones that came up was failure. Okay. Young people the idea of failure for them was no. Like, I would rather not take the step. Because I'm scared to fail. And because of that, we then developed this Fail Big workshop, and that's become our most popular workshop. Oh, really? Definitely, man. Because schools love it, because that's where the whole growth mindset stuff came from as well. Course, exactly. Of course, yeah. Just dealing with the idea of failure and what that is, and kind of coming to grips with it is really, really big. So that's in terms of the young people. But what we also then started to find was that. So with regards to girls, we kind of had this already, but there was this whole self-esteem thing. We started it mainly for girls, but also for boys as well. Yeah. The boys, it wasn't so much. Yeah, it was self-esteem, not necessarily confidence. They'll have a lot of outward confidence, but sometimes some inward self-esteem was missing. And so picking up on that as well. We found that our content works best with 11 to 18-year-olds. Okay. And specifically, probably 14 to 16 or 14 to 18. Okay. So year 9 upwards to college. Okay. That's where you have the biggest impact, because at those ages, they're starting to think about their future. And so the idea of personal development becomes more direct and more immediate. Whereas in year 7, it's not necessarily a direct impact. It can go away. The younger you can get it kind of plastered in their mind, the better. But in terms of the impact that you're going to have, 14 to 18 is
definitely something. And then I guess the other side of that then is that we started to see gaps in other fields like entrepreneurs. So we started delivering some resilient stuff and also pitching.
Massive.
Yeah. Exactly. Pitching's been a big one. So we started delivering some work with like the School for Social Entrepreneurs and Hatch around one, building resilience and essentially that failure piece with entrepreneurs, but also pitching. I can't tell you how much of a pet peeve it is when I see people go up to present and to communicate something and there's no passion. There's no energy. Don't get me wrong, not everybody has to be an amazing, massive public speaker. Yeah. But at the minimum, if you're going to talk about something, either get the technical part right, or if you're going to get that part wrong, at least be passionate about the topic. But have one or the other. Okay. Don't give me zero on both. No passion, and then you're not using any of the techniques. You're basically standing in front of the projector and then reading what's on there. I'm like, I can't deal with that. So that developed more out of like a pet peeve. But we started to realize there was a need there. And hence, there's a lot of organisations that are kind of reaching out and say, come and deliver these workshops, come and do this training. Amazing. So that's been great.
Amazing. Cool. Interesting. Wow, that's incredible, bro. I mean, So, tell me about what has been, out of the experiences you've had so far in your entrepreneurial journey, like what has been your highest moment, has been your lowest moment to date?
Cool.
If you're open to talk about
that. Totally, man. Actually, so the lowest moment I definitely touched on, but I think, so part of the reason why that was my lowest moment, so I quit my job in April. April 2017, and then I went full time, and I was like, boom, okay, cool, I'm doing this. And it was so funny at that time, a couple of weeks before I did it, I was speaking to my yoga instructor, and she said that what you're going to find is when you leave your job to do something that you're passionate about, you actually make more money. Because I was talking to her about my fear of not making enough money. I was thinking to myself, no way, that's not going to happen. Because I was on a decent salary at that time. I just got a new job as well. And so then I quit. And then in my first month, I doubled my salary.
Wow.
So what I would have made, I doubled it. And it was like, oh my gosh, cool. That was just the first month. That never happened. Exactly. It was downhill from there. So I'm starting off on a really big high and the money's kind of rolling in and things are going really well. I'm like, this is great. Then when we get to about August, because don't forget the school year runs from September to July.
Exactly. And then there's a bit of a gap.
Exactly. And so then August hits and then we get nothing.
Wow.
I'm like, you know what, cool, fair enough, school's closed. September hits, when schools go back, they're more focused on getting their students in than they are on booking external speakers to come in. So again, September comes, nothing. October comes, nothing. And I think November came as well, and still nothing. And I remember in this time, not only was I struggling with regards to business, but what happens is, and I think God sent this struggle for a reason, because I started struggling with business, but then I also started struggling with just general mental health. And I also started struggling with just losing sight of my vision and what I'm doing. And so it forced me to start asking questions bigger than business. It forced me to start asking questions about why I'm actually here. Like, what's the purpose of all this? And around that time, my cousin, who had grown up with me and had gone down a really, really bad route, who was like selling drugs and just doing nonsense, he then turned his life around and got saved and went back to Christ.
Oh, wow.
And I remember thinking, what is this? This is so strange. And then my sister did the same. And then God started sending loads of different people to come and like talk to me just randomly. And it was like, are you speaking to me? Like, what's going on here? So I just decided to start praying, just start talking to God a bit more, because I was Christian when I was growing up, but I stopped going to church when I went to uni and there was no connection. Cool. One day my sister said, why don't you just come to church with us? I was like, you know what, I'm going to come. I went there. And I remember that day I was thinking to myself, this is so long. Why am I even going here? This is so boring. I'm not even interested. And then the pastor did an altar call. And he said, if you feel like you've got a burden on your chest, come to the front. When I woke up that morning, for that like past week, I had been waking up with real anxiety and like a real burden on my chest. And I never go to the front when pastor's call. But I was like, he's basically talking to you. So let me go and let's see what happens.
Exactly.
I got to the front and he was just like, talk to God. He just wants to hear from you. Talk to him. And I remember speaking out and just saying, why am I going through all of this? What is all this stress? Like, what is happening? And I just heard such a clear, distinctive voice say, because you're not the one that's supposed to have control. Like, let go. Wow. I am the one that created this world. Wow. You are in it. You do your part. I'll deal with everything else.
Wow.
And like the sudden release that I got was absolutely amazing. And I just gave my life to Christ, man. And it was just like, yeah, I'm back. And so that from what was my lowest moment, I found essentially my purpose and my calling back through Christ, which was really, really powerful. But yeah, it started off just because we weren't making any money, man, and that was tough. You know what I mean? That was really tough.
That's crazy. I mean, I'm a Christian as well, and one of the quotes I really love is, you know, instead of searching for resources, sometimes we need to focus on searching for this source.
Wow.
And, you know, sometimes you just have to take that time to actually, like, you know, we're too busy trying to get that money, that promotion, but then sometimes instead of searching for resources, focus on the source. So that source might be, I don't know, the universe, God, whatever, but
focus on
God, and kind of just like, because it helps. And there's been lots of studies have actually been done that people who have a faith and believe, tend to live longer. They tend to have, like, you know, happier, distress-free lives. And because you know your burden, you can basically
literally
you can put it in somebody else, and you don't have to worry too much about that. And because you know that you're not, like, you know, you're not in control, you accept that. You hand that over to somebody else, and that's really, really helpful. And a lot of people that struggle with mental health have testified to the fact that you know, once they've sort of, you know, got a bit more spiritual or kind of gone into God a bit more, they actually feel better, and they they're able to relieve.
There's so much scripture that talks about that idea that, and so we've been into personal development for quite a while.
Of course,
exactly. I got into it quite young. Remember, I was given the book The Stranger's Secret by Earl Nightingale when I was about 13 years old. And at the time, I didn't really know what it was, but I just read it anyway. And so that was kind of, from those days, I've been reading those type of books, self-help, personal development books. But I'll never forget when one of my friend's mum said to me that the best personal development book that you can ever read is the Bible. And we must have been about 16. And at that time, her son was venturing out and started reading, like, the Quran, the Torah. And she was just saying, look, you can go and do all of that stuff that you want. Because I was banging on about Napoleon Hill or something. And she was like, listen, the best personal development book that you're ever going to get is the Bible. And I have read tons of personal development books. And since starting to come back to faith and read the Bible, like, it's so mad that you can read something and be like, so this is where they got this from.
I know, right?
It's crazy.
You know, the analogy I always give is, it's like listening to hip hop, right?
Yeah.
Or like modern day R&B and hip hop. And you find out the original sample was from, you know what I mean, bro? The original sample is from back in the day.
Exactly.
There was a time I used to listen to hip hop and I realized, and I just started listening to Motown and jazz.
Yeah, it's so true.
Like the 60s and 70s.
It's so true.
Because, bro, when you read the Bible, like, not just read it, but study it.
Yeah, when you meditate on it.
You find out, oh my God, this is where it came from.
Exactly.
I'll give you an example. This thing of when you have goals, you have to write them down.
Habakkuk 2,
Habakkuk
2.
Bro, you know, bro.
Come on, man.
It's like, write it down.
Listen, make it clear. Put it on a tablet.
Even if it takes ages, it will come, but just write it down.
Listen, just this morning I was listening to a sermon about that.
Oh yeah,
literally just this morning.
Write it down. I was blown away. Like,
crazy,
so many things
man.
About writing things down.
Even like the whole plant, cultivate and harvest. Kind of analogy. There's so much in scripture that talks about it.
Talks about this thing, and even mental health actually. This thing of because the thing about if you go to mentalhealth.org.uk, the number one cause of mental health problems is fear and doubt. Those are the two, according to research, fear and doubt. You know, I'm scared, I'm not good enough, I'm scared, I'm not going to get a job, I'm doubtful, you know, fear and doubt. And when you read, the Bible around, be renewed by the renewal of your mind. Romans 12
verse 2,
be renewed by the transformation of your mind. And it's like, it talks about, like, it literally gives you, like, a way of,
literally.
And it's just, you know, this whole thing of, you know, you're not battling, your wars are not kind of, you're not battling
principalities that you're battling
So when you understand that you, in your own efforts, you actually can't do this yourself, then you know that actually, I can put my... And for me, I mean, I'm a bit shy almost about talking about my faith. I've been for a long time. But what I discovered is when you tell your story and your personal story, like, there's so many stories I can tell people. And, like, without going into scripture, and I can just talk about what I've been through, and then you can see, oh my God, like, there's something here. Like, you don't necessarily have to believe, but yeah, that's incredible that, you know, you believe in that and that you're open to... You know, that has transformed your life.
Yeah, totally, man.
One of the things, Matthew 33, or I can't remember what it is, you know, like, the verse that talks about, like, seek God first.
Yeah,
then,
seek ye first the kingdom of God. Matthew 6:33.
Yeah.
Bro, you're preaching right now.
No. But the truth is, like, because I've been through very, very tough times in my life, and I've got to the point where it's like I'm like testing these things by force. Yeah. And okay, someone said this one, like if you're real, like I'm not testing guy because I'm very technical. Let's test this thing and let's see if it works, right?
Yeah.
And it always comes to like like. One of the craziest things that happened to me was people will say, fasting, fast and like if you fast and you pray for something, it will happen. I was like, nah, I don't believe in that. Nah, I mean, I tried it a day and nothing special happened. Then I thought, okay, I saw some people online doing like a water fast or whatever.
Okay, right.
And there was a time when I was solo.
Wow.
I was going through all kinds of shenanigans. All my developers, like, people was outsourcing my product, everything falling apart.
Wow.
So I thought, okay, I'm just going to fast. No food, no water, nothing.
Wow.
Fasted. 1 week, 2 weeks, fasting prayer. Like, sunrise, I respect Muslims now. Because they do this thing of fasting.
Listen, it's not easy,
It's not easy.
Huh.
Bruv, like, but because I did it in the winter, so it was easier. So
right, okay, cool.
Sunrise to sunset.
Wow.
So because sunset's earlier.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
But yes, so I did it for 2 weeks, bro.
Wow.
And because at the end, everything was just falling apart.
For 2 weeks.
But I was actually trying to do, because this did it for 40 days. So the whole thing was for 40 days back.
Yeah.
But I did it because I had nothing else. Like everything was falling apart. Everything literally fell
apart. I got
apart.
to lose anyway.
I got to lose as well, right? And guess what's happened? So I walked downstairs, right? So we have, when you walk into the building, the security guy at reception, he wears a black suit, right? Yeah. The guy that actually is there right now is not normally there. So what happens to me in those 2 weeks, obviously I come into work, I just, I drink water in the morning before, I don't even eat, I drink water before the sunrise. So I wake up quite early, 6 o'clock, just like you. And then obviously I prepare my meals and everything, but then I only eat at the end. Right. So anyway, what happens was the guy at reception, the security guy, one day I'm walking past him, the guy is coding, is developing. I'm like, wait a minute, you're security? What the hell are you doing? Here, you could be making crazy money, minimum £300 a day. And he was like, oh, well, like I'm trying to kind of save money to bring my family over here from abroad. And I'm like, wait, man, I've got a project I'm trying to work on. He's like, you know what, I'll do this for you. I don't normally do this, but I'm going to help you build your website just to prove to you that like I'm good enough. Wow. Because I'm sold on the idea. I love the idea. I'll help you build this. I've been fasting for 2 weeks. You tell me, right?
Yo, that is powerful.
The guy works 14-hour shifts. So he works from 6:30 p.m. or 6 p.m. to 8 a.m. the next day. Wow. And the guy, while he's falling half asleep, and if you see what the guy has done, like it's just, he saved me because like I'd outsourced my product. It was disaster. I lost a lot of money and everything was just like. Then eventually this guy turns up and like he's literally built a product. Like he's built the thing. Like and not just that. He has a cousin. He has a young cousin who just finished uni. Yeah. Who is really a really good developer as well. He has a full-time job. Wow. So even the cousin has now come on board and help. It's like you tell me how could have that happened? Like I was just going about my normal business and I was just like, okay, they said this thing works. But I'll fast, I'll pray, and I'll do the whole offering thing, and it's like...
yo, listen, fasting works, yo.
It works, but you've got to...
that is amazing. What a testimony,
I didn't want to kind of like...
No, you got to share. That is powerful,
like,
man.
There are things that you can only... Like, the original... all these remixes you hear. You hear the remixes of this personal development stuff in
all these other books.
But the original is the original.
The scripture, man.
You've got to, because obviously you hear so many, but you have to do your own research.
Yeah, you do.
Study it for yourself.
You've got to meditate on the word.
Yeah, you have to just go and try. Because if people tell you, oh, this, the Bible, this, that, it was written so many years, but you actually go and try it out for yourself. Yeah, and put it to test yourself.
Exactly.
And just say, okay, so apparently this thing works. Yeah. Okay, let's try it out. Because that was my approach, which is a very arrogant approach, but actually, like, I'm just like blown away. And
God is so amazing, because even in scripture, God will say, listen, if you call me, I've not only said, I think it's Jeremiah 3:33, he said, if you call me, not only will I answer, I will show you great and mighty things.
That you don't even, exactly.
That you would never, my thoughts and your thoughts are not the same. And the crazy thing about that is, us as humans, our only issue is that we have too much pride to call him.
Yeah,
that's the only problem. 9 times out of 10, the issue is the fact that if you're going through a problem, you don't want to then say, you don't want to get down on your knees and pray. You don't want to say, God, listen, I can't do, I don't know what the answer is. I don't know what to do. You want to shelter it and harbour it for yourself. Whether that be because you feel like you're a sinner, so you feel like you're not worthy, or you lack belief, so you don't think he's going to answer. Call him. It says it in scripture. I will show you great and mighty things that you do not know. So you don't need to wait for the answer. The answer isn't with you. God's thoughts are not your own thoughts. But like even just and I'm talking about that. I'm so excited. But even in that, I'm still such a baby, man. I gave my life a year ago. I'm still such a baby. You know what I mean? So there's so much more to learn. But that makes me so excited, especially about this entrepreneurial journey. Because God's going to use us to do things a lot of the time much bigger than we actually think. Much bigger than the product or the business itself. So there's so much power in that, man.
And you know the thing about faith that's applicable to the entrepreneurial world is the fact that you have so many people that don't believe in God, but they have so much faith because they go out there, they invest money, they do things, and then people who actually claim to have faith, they actually don't. They're scared of
they don't practice
because they're putting it all on themselves.
It's
but
true.
Actually, like for me, the thing that I've really learned from this is that although I want something, and what I need to do is I need to first have that faith that's going to work out, and then apply it. But you don't just pray, and you actually have to do something too.
Faith.
So I still have to go out. I still have to go out, network, and teach people, and then in the background, this thing is working out. It's just incredible that when you have faith, it really transforms everything because you see the bigger picture, you see the wider picture, and once you've tasted it, you almost want, bruv, I almost want to fast every day now, and I know it's not healthy, but every day I'm like, maybe I should, but now I have to regulate that because it's not good for health. I mean, it's good, but you can't do it all
the time.
But it's incredibly powerful when you think about how important faith is, not just for mental health, but just for life in general.
Everything, man.
Yeah. So
who would have known that was going to come up?
I know, right? Exactly. But so in terms of where do you see yourself and your company in the next 2 to 5 years? You have a picture of you, so you've kind of
totally, man, totally. I was thinking about it this morning. I think for us the key thing. So I had a conversation with someone a couple of months ago. I think I did a video about this, about how when he said, where do you see yourself in a year or a couple of years time? I said, 17 different things, we're doing this, we're doing that, and it was that's great, but the reality of it is, as an entrepreneur, you have limited resources.
Exactly.
You have loads of competitors. So if you had to pick one thing that you were doing in X amount of years time, what would it be? And for me, it is running quality, impactful national programs for young people around the UK. We're going to be doing that through schools. We're going to be doing that through youth clubs. We're going to be doing that in partnership with the government. But for me, it's the impact and long-term programs that I know we're going to be doing. So aside from anything, we're going to be personal development is also a brand that is going to be taken forward. So we're going to have partnerships with organizations, doing adverts, all of that type of stuff. But the main thing for me is running quality programs that have an impact and actually change people's lives around the UK. That's the main thing for me. That's the main thing, man. Definitely. And a team of people who are excellent, inspiring and passionate facilitators that are going out there and delivering these programs.
Amazing.
That's the thing, man. That's the main thing.
Now, obviously, you run these workshops. I mean, I'm not going to let you leave here without giving some of our people. So, if someone had an idea, or maybe they're trying to go after a career or a job, or maybe they're trying to start a company or a business with a passion they love, what tips? What kind of tips would you give those sort of people?
Cool, wicked.
Anything,
2,
3, 5, I don't know, anything.
Cool, wicked, man. I think, so I guess just to give some context. If someone is already passionate about something, my first thing to say is, don't limit yourself.
Okay.
If you're already passionate about something, when we say passionate, I'm talking about you actually care about. There's evidence that you're already doing it. You're actually interested in it. If we went on your YouTube history, you spend hours watching videos about it. You're doing something. Then I would say the first thing you need to realize is not to limit yourself, because the scariest thing, and a lot of talented people do this, is that we have a passion, we have a talent, we have a thing that we want to do, but it's so sacred to us. We say let's only feed it in small amounts, in small bits. So the first thing is think big. Like I love the quote: the only limits that exist are the ones in your own mind. Because a lot of the time we are our biggest enemy. So go big, think big, get out there, push yourself. So that's the first thing I'd say if you've got a passion. If you haven't got a passion, but you've got a burden to do something else to what you're doing right now, my thing is, that's fine. Where is your effort currently going? So if you don't know what your passion or your talent is, but if I go on your YouTube history and I see that you're watching loads of videos about gaming or about makeup tutorials, about something, follow your efforts. I think Mark Cuban, who said, don't just follow your passions, follow your efforts. If there's something that you're putting your time into already and you're not being paid for it, maybe there's something there that you can go and make something out of. Do you know what I mean? So that's really, really key. Number 3, I'd say just flipping start. Because and it's so interesting. I was listening to, I think it was an interview from Tony Robbins and Russell Brand. It was really random. Tony Robbins and Russell Brand yesterday, and Tony Robbins was talking about every morning he wakes up, he jumps into basically like an ice bath at 5 a.m. He jumps into some sort of ice bath, and it absolutely just destroys him. And he said every morning he wakes up, he never ever wants to do it, but he says I don't compromise with my mind. Because obviously my mind says, lay in a little bit. Maybe we don't need to do it today. We've done it every other day of our life. Why don't we? He says, I don't compromise. And even the way he said it almost made me sit up a little bit. Like the idea that you will not compromise with your own voice in your head and say, this is what you are going to do. Get it done now. You know? And I think a lot of the times we need to do that with the first step for taking this idea, for doing this event, for launching this podcast, for doing this thing. Don't listen to your mind. Don't listen to it. Because it's the reason why you haven't started up until now. Don't compromise. Set the date, call that person, book that venue, and do the thing. Do it. Step out and get it done, man. Because you'll just keep making excuses as to why you're not going to do it. And then the other thing I'd say, which is advice that I probably don't give enough, is have fun with it. Like be creative, be fun. When I think back to when we started 2 to 3 Degrees, when I started All Star Movers, or even like the tap mixer, all of it was done in a fun, enjoyable, creative way. That was 3 a.m. in the morning. Kofi's plugged holes in a Lucozade bottle, and I've took my phone out and be like, I'm recording this. This is dumb, man. You know. And then even like with 2 to 3 Degrees, we're having this exciting, inspiring conversation, and we're like, let's just do it, man. WhatsApp every single teacher. Like move light. I think it's Usain's Bolt mum who said to him, the lighter you are, the faster you move. When you take yourself serious, you're really heavy. You're really anxious. You're really you're tight. But when you're light, when you're creative, when you're not really worrying about what could go wrong and what could go right, you're just like, I like this thing, I want to do it. You can move faster. You know, so that's my thing. Move light, man. Enjoy it. Like life is meant to be lived. Go and have some fun.
That's true. Yeah, you're absolutely right. A lot of people don't talk about the fun part because everyone is kind of like too focused on, like, you know, I work in a co-working space and you know, an accelerator program where everyone is just like, you know, let's go. And I actually noticed, because we have a Christmas party tomorrow. Like, it's the first time we've actually had like a thing where no one ever goes out for drinks after work. Like everyone kind of just comes in, they work, everyone is on a mission. So it's, you know, it's just nice to kind of have a bit of fun with it too, and because, you know, you just never know where, you know, life could lead and how things could go. Man. But yeah, so I guess the last question I'll probably ask is, you know, like, you know, what do you wish? I mean, of course, there's so many things, but what is that one key thing you wish you knew starting out, that you know now, that you wish you knew when you were starting out generally? Like, that one profound thing that, I mean, there's so many things, obviously. Yeah, there is, but just to drill it down to maybe 1 or 2 things. I mean, I feel like, you know, so, I mean, for me, one of the things I guess I've learned, that, well, I can start with myself, while I give you maybe a couple of minutes to think, is, for me, the thing that I really learned was that people don't buy necessarily products or services. They buy from people they know, like, and trust. Because I knew nothing about sales, right? And because people buy from people they know, like, and trust, you have to become known. You have to put yourself out there. A lot of us, we're scared of putting ourselves out there.
Very true.
You have to get liked too. So when people see you, you know, if they like your energy, they like, you know, they see your passion, they will like you. And then you have to be some sort of expert. So,
to be trusted. It has to be credible. It has to be credible in your field. Yeah.
So for me, that was the key thing, which in fact, one of the reasons why I started the podcast and why I should name it after myself.
Yeah, makes sense.
I was like, why not? I mean, Gary Vaynerchuk is out there, David Rubenstein on Bloomberg, all these people. Like, Versace calls his brand Versace and Dolce & Gabbana, why not? Why can't what's it? Yeah. So for me, the thing is people buy into, buy into people they know, like, and trust.
Yeah.
So put yourself out there a bit more. Don't be afraid to be true to yourself. Being yourself is the highest pinnacle of honesty, essentially.
Amen.
And for me, I think that just being yourself and being cool with who you are, you have to learn to enjoy being yourself. It's true.
You have to like
if you don't, exactly. Nobody else is going to.
Exactly.
So for me, it's like whatever, man. Like I just go with that, right?
And people gravitate towards that energy when they feel like you have confidence and you like yourself.
Yeah,
it doesn't even necessarily have to be bravado.
Yeah,
just
exactly.
I like me. I'm happy. I'm happy to be here.
Exactly.
You get me? So
anything profound.
Yeah, you know what? Yeah, it's actually something that you said. So you talked about how basically the way you developed in sales was by talking to your target market and basically learning about them. That's probably the one thing that we didn't do enough of in the beginning. We did bits of it, but we only ever spoke to them when we wanted to sell. We never just spoke to them just to find out who they were, and that's something that we still struggle with quite a bit. We're getting a lot better at it now that we're in the game. I'm doing it on a day-to-day basis, but there's so much value in talking to your target market because, and I don't even like the word target market because it makes it seem as though you're basically going to do research. Basically, and it's linked to what you said as well. People buy from who they know and trust. If you're not talking to them, how are they going to know and trust you? It's really, really key. So that's the biggest one for me. Talking to the people that you're going to buy from, learning what their pains are, learning what they want to know, learning how they work, and then making that your everything.
Yeah, bro. Honestly, this has been amazing, man.
Epic.
It's been the best podcast stuff. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Thank you so much for having me, man.
It's been the best.
Thank you, man.
Honestly,
it's been epic.
We could go on for ages and ages, but this has been amazing, man.
Epic.
And anytime, of course, you're always welcome to come back. Of course. And I know you were talking about launching your own as well.
We're gonna talk about this after this, actually.
Yeah, look, as soon as you're ready, I'd love to be on that show, because we could go on this forever.
Listen.
And if you want, we could actually we could repurpose this for yours. So we can kind of just
literally as soon as we come off air, I'm about to pitch to him real quick.
We can repurpose this. You can use it for your audience as well, because and what we'll do is we'll obviously chop it up and dice it out. Because we're not going to put this out straight. But anyway, look, I really appreciate so many nuggets of wisdom, so many nuggets of
it's a blessing, man.
But it's really encouraging to see somebody else that from the same community, South London, and also entrepreneurial, but also like someone that believes in God and has faith, and you actually there's proof and evidence, because sometimes quoting chapters and verses.
It's not the same,
But talking about the life, I can give you stories, bro. That's just one. There's so many things.
Yeah, I know you got
real stories that you would not believe. You only hear any, bro. Appreciate it.
Thank you so
much. Thank you for coming down.
Honestly,
appreciate it, man. Yo, and inspiration. I watch your videos to inspire me.
Bro,
I don't think I do these Simon Says videos before. I actually watch this guy. I'm like, yo, I gotta do it. I love that, man. Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.